Book 323. In 1976, Carl Sagan and astrophysicist Edwin Salpeter published a peer-reviewed paper proposing that Jupiter's atmosphere might support an entire aerial ecosystem. Sinking microorganisms, buoyant floaters potentially kilometers across, and mobile hunters that preyed on them, living their entire lives in a world with no solid surface below. In 1976, renowned scientists Carl Sagan and Edwin Salpeter proposed a fascinating idea. Jupiter's atmosphere might support an entire aerial ecosystem. This ecosystem would consist of tiny sinkers, vast floaters, and mobile hunters that prey on them. The sinkers would be small, photosynthetic organisms that absorb sunlight and divide while drifting downward. They would eventually reach destructive heat, but their population might persist if they reproduced quickly enough. The floaters, on the other hand, would be enormous, balloon-like organisms that pump helium out of their interior to maintain buoyancy. They would need to be incredibly large, with diameters of up to 1 kilometre, to achieve the necessary lift. These organisms would not have faces, intelligence, or social behavior, but would simply drift through the atmosphere, sustained by their clever buoyancy mechanism. The hunters would introduce movement into this ecosystem, steering through the atmosphere to search for nutrients or smaller organisms. They would approach and coalesce with other organisms, and their size would depend on their food supply and maneuverability. The hunters would not necessarily have teeth or a digestive system, but would instead use optical and acceleration sensors to locate colored organisms and rising thermals. The 1976 paper that proposed this ecosystem did not claim to have discovered life on Jupiter. Instead, it was a set of calculations that asked whether an imagined biology could reproduce before Jupiter's circulation carried it into fatal heat. The paper warned that a plausible and internally consistent ecology would not demonstrate that life on Jupiter was likely. Even today, no probe has detected a Jovian organism, biological pigment, or accepted biosignature. Despite the lack of evidence, the idea of an aerial ecosystem on Jupiter remains fascinating. The planet's atmosphere is a complex, dynamic system with violent storms and uneven distributions of ammonia and water. Any aerial life would need to navigate these challenges, but the possibility of life existing in such a unique environment is an intriguing one that continues to capture the imagination of scientists and science fiction enthusiasts alike.